Now on CoastTV News.
Disclosing Delaware dollars as Governor Matt Meyer is getting set to reveal his budget plan. We look at some of the areas that could cost the most. In clean energy clash, the bill just introduced in the Delaware State House that is attempting to stop the upcoming ban on new gas-powered car sales.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Our top story this morning is to learn the details about Delaware's budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Governor Matt Meyer is scheduled to reveal his proposal at the Delaware Public Archives building. According to the Joint Finance Committee, one of the state's largest expenses is education, which is expected to take up about 36% of budget expenses. Another big one is health and social services with 27% of the budget. The final budget requires approval by the General Assembly. And this just in, pushback by Republicans on the Delaware electric vehicle mandate. You may remember beginning in fall 2026, state regulations will require 43% of new vehicles sent to dealerships to be zero-emission vehicles. The percentage would increase yearly until it reaches 82% in 2032. House Bill 92 would cancel that mandate and enact what lawmakers call the Delaware Low Emissions Program. A hearing will take place in the House Natural Resources and Energy Committee. Getting it out of committee will be a challenge, with Democrats holding a majority in the House. And new this morning, changes to enrollment limits at Sussex Tech could be coming. This is in the form of a bill making its way through the Delaware General Assembly. The current number of students allowed at that school is 1,450. The bill, sponsored by Seaford Area Representative Danny Short, calls for capacity limits to be set by the Department of Education. It was just a few hours ago that bill was voted out of the Education Committee and will go to the full House. And we are now taking a live look outside at Dover this morning, and it is sunny outside. A little bit cooler, Bob, when I walked out to my car this morning, but hopefully that sun is warming things up a little bit.
Good morning, Elisa. We are warming things up ever so slowly, but what a cold start to the day. It was frosty. It is a hard freeze. Salisbury and Georgetown both down to 27, 30 in Ocean City, 30 in Cambridge, 32 in Easton. So I hope you protected your tender plants, because if not, they probably got zapped by the frost. Slow warm up right now, 44 in Georgetown and Milton. Salisbury, you're up to 48, 43 in Ocean City. Bethany Beach, 44. We've got a cold wind blowing over 20 miles per hour in Georgetown and Ocean City. So with that wind this afternoon, it's going to be cold. At least we're in full sunshine right now. You see the visible satellite picture showing us in good shape. Well, we have high pressure back to the west, so we're still in a chilly northwesterly flow, but I'm expecting a lot of sunshine into the afternoon as temperatures slowly warm into the upper 40s by noon on Futurecast. Same for the coast. Those winds gusting over 25 miles per hour at times, making it feel even colder. And we do sneak into the low 50s, maybe even mid 50s inland areas later this afternoon, but a little cooler at the beaches, and this evening not as cold as previous nights as we're seeing the sunshine and gusty winds. But then we're going to see some changes with a warm front, a big warm up on the way. I'll talk about that. And today is the opening day of baseball. The forecast in D.C. for the Nats and Phillies coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. New this morning, the Delaware State Fire Marshal will continue investigating the cause of a fire in Frankfort. You can see that Wednesday evening blaze right here on your screen. The Frankfort Volunteer Fire Company says crews battled flames at a commercial building at the intersection of Burbage Road and Jones Road. The agency says Millville, Bethany Beach, Roxana, and Dagsboro fire crews all came out to help put out that fire as well. And new in the first state, the Delaware Forest Service has received over $1 million to create a forest resiliency fund. And what that means is the fund supports landowners with projects like tree planting, invasive species removal, and prescribed burns. Projects must be at least 3 acres, and landowners can't own more than 10,000 forested acres in Delaware. Tree planting payments go directly to suppliers and contractors, while landowners get reimbursed for projects after providing proof of completion. And people all across Delaware can support the Special Olympics today while enjoying a nice meal. The Seaford Police Department says officers from the agency and Delaware State Troopers will serve customers at Texas Roadhouse. There will be officers at multiple locations across the state, including the one located in Millsboro. Seaford Police say all tips to law enforcement will go towards supporting the Special Olympics. And this event will take place today from 3 to 9 p.m. And happening today, more heated hearings over the security breach involving the U.S. military strikes on Yemen. The Trump administration claiming none of the information revealed in a group text chat that included a journalist was classified. As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, calls for an investigation are growing on both sides of the aisle.
The growing controversy over that sensitive Signal group chat reaching a new stage as the journalist who was inadvertently added alongside top Trump officials released what he says are all of the messages exchanged, including a series from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth detailing timing and weapons in the hours before U.S. airstrikes on Iranian-backed Houthi forces in Yemen were set to begin. From the time of the first fighter jet launch to when the first bombs would drop, the screenshots do not include information on specific targets.
There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information.
Assertions like that from multiple high-ranking officials that the messages contain nothing classified are why Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg says he chose to release them. President Trump less conclusive on what could be classified.
You'll have to ask the various people involved. I really don't know.
Pointing to the mission's success and distancing himself from the fallout.
Well, I think it's a witch hunt. I wasn't involved.
This open portion of the
For a second day on Capitol Hill, Democrats, this time in the House, grilling CIA Director John Ratcliffe and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who were both on the chat.
It is outrageous and it is a leadership failure.
Some Republicans now voicing concerns.
I can't see any rationale for the kind of conversation that took place over Signal for not taking place in a more secure manner than that.
The Republican Senate Armed Services Chair calling for an expedited Inspector General investigation.
I would have wanted it classified.
As Democrats press for firings. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up after the break, for 40 years, Zelke has been a beacon of boardwalk fun in Rehoboth Beach. We'll show you how the arcade that has lit up summers is playing its last round before pressing pause for good.
When you think of Rehoboth Beach, you might think of sun, sand, and saltwater taffy, but beyond the crashing waves and the boardwalk fries, it's a place for classic, coin-operated fun. For 40 years, Zelke's has stood as a beloved boardwalk arcade. But as Emma Aiken shows us in this week's Coastal Connections, the original location is lighting up for one last season this summer.
Joystick Joy, fortune tellers, and skee ball. Those are the sights and sounds of the arcade experience, which Zelke's manager Matt Weiner has been familiar with all his life.
We're in the business of providing fun and memories.
But this summer will be the last season for the original Zelke's location.
I feel very sad. I love the nostalgic charm that this building holds. I mean, I'm standing on almost 100-year-old bowling alley floors. I grew up in this arcade.
After the 2025 season, the building will be demolished as the One Rehoboth Avenue mixed-use hotel and retail project is set to take its place.
It's weird because it's like taking a piece of history away. You know
but the Zelke's at the Tanger Outlets isn't going anywhere. That's where John and Chelsea Pazak brought their son Bodie for some birthday fun. Still, they say the original will always be iconic.
It's like a staple of the boardwalk.
The Zelke's on the south end of the boardwalk will also continue serving up Pixel Paradise. And Weiner says it will hopefully be only one season without a north end location, as there are plans to build a new Zelke's in its place later.
It's only going to lead to our ability to improve the Zelke's experience.
This year also marks the 40th anniversary for the original Zelke's, and they've got some special things in store to celebrate the milestone, like selling snowballs and the grand opening of a mini golf course that will be on the roof of the south location. So after this one final season, the arcade that lit up summers says goodbye.
It makes you smile when you say it. Zelke's, it's better than cheese.
But the tokens, tickets, and timeless fun will remain. For Coastal Connections, I'm Emma Aiken.
Temperatures slowly warming up from those frosty levels this morning, beginning in the 20s and 30s. A little better right now on the Spicer Brothers camp in Salisbury, 48 degrees. And we're looking at temperatures only rising into the low 50s. And with that, it's going to be a cold wind. But look at these lows this morning, 27 in Salisbury and Georgetown, 30 in Ocean City, 30 at Wallops Island, and 30 in Cambridge, with Easton checking in with 32. So if you didn't protect those tender plants, they probably got zapped. And today is the opening day of baseball. We've got the Phillies at the Nats at Nationals Park. First pitch is at 4:05 if you're doing a little tailgating. Warming through the 50s early to mid-afternoon. Lots of sunshine. By first pitch, around 59 degrees. So perfect weather for baseball in D.C. And through the evening hours, we're looking at upper 50s and really pleasant conditions. Great day for baseball. Temperatures right now are cold. 44 in Georgetown, 45 in Milton, 45 in Bethany Beach. Rehoboth at 43. A little warmer in Salisbury, 48 and 44 in Ocean City. Then you factor in the wind. Those are gusting over 20 miles per hour, adding a sting to the air, feeling more like temperatures in the 30s with gusts of 22 in Georgetown, 21 in Ocean City right now. But it's wall-to-wall sunshine, absolutely beautiful out there. So stay in the sun and out of the wind if you can through this afternoon, as we're looking at beautiful conditions as high pressure is building in. We have a northwesterly flow keeping us chilly, but there is a change back to our west. There's a warm front across the plains. We're seeing showers across the Midwest. This warm front will advance our way tomorrow. We'll increase the clouds, and we could see some showers at that time. But into the weekend, a warm front comes through, and it's spring fever this weekend. 70s to near 80 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. Could see some showers later Sunday, and then especially late Monday with the cold front. But here's Futurecast at noon. We're looking at upper 40s, and those winds still gusting over 20 miles per hour at times. I think later this afternoon around 53 to 55 inland, low 50s at the coast, and then tonight not as cold as the winds turn around to the south, and we'll see temperatures by morning in the 30s and 40s, and then we start to cloud things up. It's a breezy day and milder too by afternoon, mid-60s. Could see some showers along that warm front into the evening hours. Nothing all that heavy as we're looking at those winds today, up to about 25 miles per hour. Then they're shifting to the southwest tomorrow, bringing in that warmer air with gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. And then by the afternoon, still some gusty southwest winds, and that will really kick in the warmth on Saturday. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds near 80 degrees, and then on Sunday, we increase the clouds. Could see some late day showers, so much of the day is good. But Monday, I think, is the rainier day, and maybe some storms as well, and some heavier rain Monday night into Tuesday morning with the cold front. Maybe some thunderstorms as well, and then cooler and drier behind that system. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 55 today, lots of sunshine, and you can go ahead and put those plants back outside. Overnight lows staying above freezing. 67 Friday, and then close to 80 on Saturday, but I went 79, partly cloudy. Late day showers Sunday, 74. Could be a little stormy Monday with that cold front, 76. And then it does cool down again Tuesday into Wednesday, highs in the upper 50s.
Thank you, Bob. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon at 4 on Coast Life. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. Here's what's coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We're checking in with the Possum Point players and their production of Little Women. You know it's Thursday, so we're spilling some tea, spilling some drama, and this one is pet related with our Spill the Tea and the first ever pickleball half marathon. We're getting the details of all of that and more today at 4 on Coast Life. University of Maryland students will learn it's not easy being green at their commencement this year. The school has announced Kermit the Frog will be delivering a speech to graduates on May 21st. The University of Maryland says the beloved Muppet will offer words of optimism and encouragement as students embark on a new chapter in their lives. Kermit has a long history with the school. Muppet's creator Jim Henson graduated from the university in 1960. And here's a look at what's coming up tonight on DSN. Your game tonight at 4 p.m. Delmar takes on Lake Forest in softball. Then stay tuned for the final score at 10:30. And over on the DSN Plus app at 4 p.m., St. John's College High and St. Peter's and Paul will hit the field in girls lacrosse. At the same time, you can watch Red Lion take on St. George's in boys lacrosse. Then at 5:30, Sussex Tech travels to Indian River for a girls soccer matchup. Coast TV will be right back. Happening tonight, the Maryland Terrapin basketball team will attempt to reach the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in program history. Tonight, it's a big challenge against top seed Florida, and tip-off in San Francisco is set for 7:39. And happening this afternoon, it's opening day for Major League Baseball, and the Phillies will travel to Washington to take on the Nationals. First pitch is scheduled for 4:06. And about an hour before that, we are expecting the first pitch in the Orioles season. The Birds are north of the border in Toronto to begin the season against the Blue Jays.
Beautiful day for baseball, and it's cold though here on the Eastern Shore. Cambridge 45 right now, lots of sunshine, only warming into the low 50s. So after a frosty start, it's slowly warming up. A much bigger warm up Friday and feeling like summer over the weekend, near 80 degrees, especially on Saturday. Umbrella giveaway winner today is Allison Tallarico from Milton. Congratulations to her from Paul Davis and Coast TV. I'll have that summer-like 10-day forecast coming up next. If you're headed over to D.C. for opening day for the big game against the Nats, looking great, looking at 50s there. A little cooler here, closer to home. It's going to be breezy this afternoon, too. Mid-50s, around 55 or so, I think, later this afternoon. Those winds do start to die down, but they'll be gusting up to 20 miles per hour at times as we go into the afternoon. Remember, another way to get your forecast is the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. The number is 443-880-9100. It's sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 67 on Friday. Could see some showers later in the day with a warm front. Then it's summer-like temperatures into the weekend. Saturday, I'm going 79, but some inland areas could hit 80 degrees. It's going to feel really nice. A lot of folks, I'm sure, are doing a lot of lawn work. And then Sunday, 74, late-day showers. Monday, 76 with storms. Some of those could be strong with a cold front, especially Monday night. We'll watch that. It cools off Tuesday and Wednesday, and then back to the 70s end of the week, and a few more showers heading into Friday. Not too shabby, Elisa.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.